So the signals for the end of this bear market are all over the place. We have wrecked centralized exchanges. We have altcoins that are dead or are down at least 90%. We've had Bitcoin in the red for a year, and of course, the low market volume everywhere for Bitcoin as well. Not to mention the sentiment. Everyone is saying crypto is dead. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. This is rinse and repeat for basically every bear cycle. But hindsight is 2020. And you know what? The most common reply that Toby and I get when people find out that we got into crypto early. We've been running this channel since 2016. We were investing in crypto years before that as well. And the number one reply is we got lucky. Oh, you didn't take much risk. Of course, it was so cheap back then. Lucky you. But you know what? There was zero confirmation bias. There was maybe one or two YouTube videos that were talking about cryptocurrencies at the time. You didn't have institutions creating ETFs. You didn't have countries adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. And you know what? It takes some grit to go against the crowd, to not gain confirmation from the masses. Because you know what? We shouldn't be a part of the masses. We should be going against the grain. And that is how you reap the benefits. And buying at the bottom of a bear market when things seem the most dire is where you will see the most benefit in the long term. And you know how we have that long-term perspective? Not only because we've learned about the incredibly disruptive technology that blockchain represents, not only that we're taking the power and creation of money out of the hands of governments around the world, but let's take a look at the US. And what I'm going to show you in a second is a chart. I'm going to show it right now, actually, so go ahead and take a look. And this chart is showing from 1960 until 2020, the rate of growth of the U.S. stock market capitalization, the GDP, and the broad money supply. It's going up. That's called inflation, right? And now there's people doubting, or they think that Bitcoin doesn't benefit from monetary inflation. They think that the Fed is going to pivot. But you know what? The Fed isn't doing anything brand new. And keep in mind, what I just showed you, that chart of that motion, that happened throughout the 1980s when Volcker raised interest rates by, about 16, 18%. So yes, the Fed does what they do. They follow Keynesian economics, which is pumping money into the economy, fake stimulus, centralized control, centralized planning over economies. And look at what you are reaping. You're reaping crazy inflation. CPI is a lie, at least the one that they're reporting on the news. Inflation, real inflation, is much higher than what they're telling you. And you don't need me to tell you that. Go to the grocery store, try to buy lumber, try to do construction, and see how the costs have changed very recently, even the past 6 to 12 months. That is the kind of situation that bolsters even more Toby and I's belief, and many others, and the long-term beneficial effects of having exposure to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin especially. So for those of you who are still saying Bitcoin is dead, who still say Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, who think that we're all getting scammed or promoting a scam, you, my friend, your sentiment is going to turn around on a dime once CBDCs come out and you realize that you have very little control over your privacy or even how you spend your money if you're not following the narrative, if you're not falling in line with how your government would prefer that you behave. Not a lot of freedom in the future with CBDCs. They're probably not even going to call it a CBDC because people like us that have been ringing the bell about it and calling it a central bank digital currency, that's what CBDC stands for. So just be warned, CBDC, digital dollar, digital lira, digital whatever, euro, yuan, digital fiat money issued by governments is going to have all the more control over your life. I've gone on far more of a rant on this video than I planned to. Next up, we're going to talk about what's happening with Gemini, Genesis, digital currency group and the class action lawsuits coming up against them. If you guys are interested, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again real soon in the next video. Bye, guys.